right, yo. So this is the Bigger Than Real Estate podcast, episode number 1. Yes, We're here with Lynch.
Yes, you call me Lynch. Yeah, I'll go by Lynch. That works for me.
Okay. Of course, you know we got the co-host Travis Eamon.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Okay, perfect. So we got a couple themes within this podcast. Number 1 is the fact that, of course, we're always going to have an alcoholic beverage with us.
Shout out Coors.
You already know. Coors Banquet.
That's what we're sipping. Coors Banquet
Our
today.
first ad.
There you go.
All right, get it sponsored by Coors. I wouldn't mind.
There you go.
Right. All right, perfect. So to start us off, like before we kind of like roll into the deepness of the conversation or wherever it flows, let's kind of like just briefly with a couple of quick questions just to kind of like warm you up. So
Couple
Travis,
icebreakers. So we just want to ask you a quick, simple question. Have you ever cried in a movie?
Have you ever cried in a movie?
Take a drink and think. Take a drink and think. Trademarked.
Honestly, I'm not that much of an emotional person, so like I'm not the crying type. So
Not one time.
I don't think I can't recall ever crying watching a movie. Like even I went to go see Avengers, the Endgame.
Okay.
With my girl, right, and she's not even like a superhero fan, like a Marvel fan, right?
Right.
And she was crying. With
Wow.
The whole spoiler alert. When Iron Man dies, like she teared up and everything, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh wow, like I'm just not emotional. Like I just didn't hit me like that. So like,
Pursuit of happiness. It didn't get you.
I said, man,
It didn't get you.
I was sad still.
Right.
It didn't hit me. Really?
All right.
It didn't hit me. I guess I got to do 7 pounds. I heard that's a sad
That's a
movie.
sad movie. That's the opening
Sad?
scene.
You cried?
Spoiler alert. There you go. Yeah, it's a sad movie.
cried, man?
I've never watched it again. Let me just say that. all right?
I've never cried watching a movie.
Yeah.
John Q, like
That's a sad movie. We're bringing out the bangers today. All right, there you go. Good one. Here we go. Second question. If you could paint a picture of any scenery that you've seen before, what would it be?
paint a picture of any scenery.
Take a drink and think. Trademark. Take a drink and think.
That's great. That's a good question. I'm not much of the creative type. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I used to get season art, so painting and all that wasn't my forte. But let me think about that.
Anywhere you've been.
Anywhere you
any
kind of been at the
beautiful
moment
thing.
was
Because
so nice.
I went to this museum in Philly, where the Rocky statue is.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like this painting, right? Oh, it's not even really a painting. It's like an art. I don't know. What would you call it? Like it's like light. It's like lit up.
Yeah.
But it's like a light. It's not really a painting.
Right.
Okay.
You know what it's called?
No.
No.
I'm trying to pull it
Would
up
have
on
pulled
him.
it up.
bro.
Would have pulled it up. Would have pulled it
I
up.
don't
Put 'em
know
on
what
the
it's called,
spot.
but it's almost like a 6.
Okay.
Right? But
Drake?
it has writing around it.
Oh, okay.
Right? So like I thought that was cool. Like I took a picture behind it. It's like being from the 6. It's like
Yeah,
of
that's
course,
sick.
of course.
That's
Shout out to the
sick.
Raptors.
It like stood out to me.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, but like I'll just go with that.
Hey, okay, no, that's beautiful, man. Yeah.
Last one, a little bit more serious, but what age did you become an adult? Take a drink and think. This is trademark. Take a drink and think.
Just in case y'all don't know.
I still don't think I'm an adult, man.
Fair.
I like that. Yeah.
I say I'm still kind of childish.
Yeah.
To this day. I don't know what it will be to turn me in or so I know when I'm an adult, but like I definitely don't think I'm an adult now. What if it's like when I can buy a property or know how to do my own taxes?
Fair.
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what makes me feel like I'll be an adult. But like I still watch cartoons, anime,
Hey,
and
Of
all
course.
that.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Shit, talk to myself when I'm at home. Like,
There you go.
Of course.
so like, you know, I can't say I'm an adult yet. For
Fair.
Sure. I'm
Fair.
still a child at heart, for sure.
For
Fair.
sure. Yeah.
So that was our take a drink and think segment, and you know, yeah. So that was pretty cool, and I guess we'll just transition into you just telling our viewers and listeners exactly who you are.
Yeah,
I know we gave you your name and everything, but you mentioned Philadelphia a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, just bring them into where you came from, where
Yeah.
you were born and raised, and just a little bit about yourself, just so they know who we're talking about.
Yeah, so let's get into my journey. So yeah, pretty much spent my whole life in Brampton. As Nelson would know.
You already know.
We pretty much grew up with
Yeah.
each other.
For sure.
Elementary school, middle school, all the way to high school.
Yep.
Yeah, I spent my life in Brampton. Played a lot of sports, whether it was basketball, football, soccer. And I was just, like, my whole life was built around just playing sports, really. I tried different sports, but my main focus was soccer, right? And a lot of, like, a main goal of mine was to become a professional soccer player. How? I don't know. But, like, just something I did every day.
Fair.
Practice, whether it was in school, outside of school, it was something I was doing every day. And, like, it took over my life, right? Just playing soccer every day. And it's funny because, like, of course, like, things happen, you know? And sometimes you don't achieve your goals, right? And I didn't end up being a professional soccer player, right? And now I look at my life, like, my journey, right? Like, I'm still trying to figure myself out as a person.
Fair.
So just to get into my journey, pretty much, I had a goal of playing in the States, getting a scholarship to play soccer over there. And I wanted to play D1, of course, because that's everyone's goal coming out of Canada, right? And I fell short of that, right? So coming out of, like, grade 11, when you start to get your looks and everything from schools in the States and everything, I was unsure of the whole process, like with the whole clearinghouse and all that. And it's hard when you don't have someone to look up to or someone that's been through the process themselves. So, like, you're going through it and you're kind of unprepared. And, like, you're unprepared and it's like you're just feeling this, you're feeling it out. Like, you're going through
creating
school.
your own path. Yeah.
Like, you're going through school, you're going through practice, but, like, it's not something you focus on. It's like something you would want your parents to focus on, right?
Yeah.
It's so, like, it's like getting, like, a degree and everything is something that your parents wanted you to do.
Exactly.
So, like, I'm going through school, like, I just need to get these grades. I just need to go to practice and improve my skill so I can go to get my scholarship, right? But, like, as I'm going through school, I'm not passionate about anything.
No.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not, like, what do I like in school? You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, damn, like, what about post-soccer? You know?
Yeah.
What if I don't make it as a professional athlete? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really hard, like, because, like, grade 11, I had a look at a Division I school, St. Joseph, right? And they offered me, like, a 60% scholarship, right? But, like, as a kid, I'm just like, oh, that's cool. But my parents are like, nah, you can get more.
Get the 100,
you get 100.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
All right, cool, sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Like, but I don't know. Like, I'm just, like, I'm trying to study for these SATs and everything. And I'm like, damn, like, this shit's hard. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So, like, I hurt my knee in grade 11, right? And I'm like, damn. So that was, like, a little minor setback for me, right? Grade 12 comes around, like, I'm still not ready to, like, actually leave and, like, go to the States, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, I'm like, damn, whatever. Here in Canada, we have the option of coming back for a fifth year. So, you know, I take that option, but, like, coming back, like, you start to lose interest from schools over, like, in the States, right? So it's just like, damn, like, I don't have the offers that I had before, right? And then I'm like, and then I had this school tournament, right? And there was this guy from a school called Hilbert College in Hamburg, New York, just right outside of Buffalo.
Yep.
And he offered me to go to the school, right? Yeah. And at the time, I had nothing, but I knew I wanted to be in the States, right? So I'm just like, man, like, I always had a goal of going to the States, playing soccer, so I'm just going to take it. So what I have, right? The process wasn't too difficult, but I was able to get there, right? And I knew I wasn't going to love it at first, but I made through, right? But the moral of this story is, even though I was at that school for 1 year and I didn't love it, I made something of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because being there, like, I knew I wasn't satisfied and I wanted more. And then after the season, like, I'm like, no, I don't want to be here, so I have to find a way out, right? So I gathered all the tapes from the games, and I made a highlight tape, right? And it's funny because I didn't know how to make a highlight tape. I've never been a creative person, right? So, like, I never knew about making a highlight tape or anything. I see Travis's highlight tape from back in the day. I'm like, oh, man, I'd love to have one of those, right? So, like, I just learned, right? And, like I didn't let my failures like set me back, right? So I was able to make a highlight tape, send it out to different schools around the states, and I was able to find myself at Philadelphia University, a D2 school. And I was proud of it, you know?
Yeah.
I got myself out of something I didn't like. I learned from it, you know, and then I was able to experience Buffalo. And also, even though I was down, I found a way to get myself out of that sticky situation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like anything you put your mind to, you know, you can get it done. Like I didn't know how to make a highlight tape.
Yeah,
I made
right.
one.
You learned
Yeah.
exactly.
And then I was able to get myself out of there. Went to Philadelphia University, and you know, I got a scholarship there. Like we won 2 championships.
Nice, beautiful.
You know, I met a lot of great people, great connections, and everything. So like, I enjoyed it, right? But like now, I find myself here.
Yeah.
I didn't achieve the goal of being a professional athlete.
The ultimate goal, quote
The
unquote.
ultimate goal, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And now I'm stuck here, finished with the degree. But like all I knew was soccer.
Exactly.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
But like, what do I know now? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm trying to figure that out now
Yeah.
as a person.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
trust
I'm a
me,
young adult, young childish adult. And I'm trying to figure out like, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Like what, like
truly
what are
wanna
my
do.
passions? You know?
Yeah,
'Cause it's something like I don't know. Like all I knew was sports.
Exactly.
Like sports was my passion. Like I didn't know the whole business part of making money and what I want to do to make money. You know, like I always thought I was just gonna make money being an athlete, right?
Which is
Exactly,
what they try to do,
Exactly,
right? They
exactly.
want to create employees in
Exactly.
college and everything, right?
Exactly.
Like if they didn't want to do that, why would they make you take how many classes you have to take? Unnecessary classes that you do not have to take.
Yeah.
Like a
Exactly.
degree should take 2 years max.
Exactly.
No, you got to stay 4 years.
And most of the courses that like they're not even really relevant. You're
They
just
don't
kind of
even- they
taking
don't have to do
courses.
it.
They
'cause
just
you have to take electives.
they
You have to
honestly
take
just
electives.
like cloud your mind. Like I'm
It's-
taking all these different courses, but I'm like, I don't know what I like. Like I'm
Exactly.
studying. I'm just studying because I got to pass. Like you know, I got to get that
Exactly.
GPA to stay on the team, keep my scholarship. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's just like I don't know what I really like, but I'm just doing these courses because I know I need to do them. I know what I
Exactly.
got to be in class. So
Right.
it's hard when you're an athlete
Yeah.
and like you have to get out that mindset and almost take that athlete mindset and take it and put it into something else.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's the transition that I'm trying to get into now. Like the passion I had to get up and go to practice
Yeah.
or get up, go for a run, or get up and just work out. Like have that same passion in like a job. You know?
And life in a
It's
way.
tough,
Life in a
man.
way,
A lot
yeah.
of people deal with that.
A lot of athletes.
Yeah, exactly. Athletes especially,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because, like you said, they go through their whole life just knowing one thing, and
one
then
sport.
once it's done, it's done.
And it's kind of
right?
like a sin in a way to think of something other than you're going to be a professional athlete as an athlete.
Exactly.
Because at that
You're
point, you're
setting
kind of
yourself
like
up for
doubting
failure.
yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
saying like, yo, you don't have the skill set or whatever to actually make it as an athlete. So I got
Exactly.
to prepare for plan B.
Exactly.
But like, as an athlete, you don't want to hear that. Like, yo, you got to prepare for plan B. What if sports don't work out? It's like,
You know
what
what I
are,
mean?
what are you talking about? What if sports don't work out?
Exactly.
So do you feel like there's a way that like we can kind of better prepare young athletes for the future? Because even whether someone plays professionally for a day or for 20 years, sooner or later there's gonna be that afterlife, you know? So is there a way that we can kind of better prepare our athletes for that?
It's funny because like before we even thought about this podcast and like when you reached out me like telling me what to talk about today, what we're gonna talk about, I just took a minute to think about like, what could we have done or what would have helped, you know,
Yeah,
throughout
right.
the process, right? And I was just like, what if there was like some type of like after school program for athletes that focused in on like what are your passions post being an athlete?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
if there's an after school program that there's someone put together where like athletes for an hour before practice or whatever got together and discussed like
Something other than
like
their
something
sport,
other than like
other than like watching football film or watching soccer film or kind
Exactly.
of going to practice, just like put them
Exactly.
in a classroom. Like, let's actually talk about what else do you like?
what else do you like?
know,
What like what are
music,
your
art,
interests?
Whatever,
like, you know what I mean?
you know,
Like,
business, whatever, anything.
exactly.
Science.
Or even try to find something that you may like for that athlete. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Because like it's hard because it's something you're only thinking about the game. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you're not thinking about like post athlete life. You're not ever thinking about like how am I gonna make money like after this is done.
Exactly.
You know? So it's like if there is some type of program or something that's put together that like I know like me, if I'm talking to my younger self, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
for
the
sure,
thing,
for
but,
sure,
like,
for sure.
Like now that I'm growing up, like it's just like, man, it would have been beneficial because we had like careers in high school.
Civics and
like,
careers, and that was like half a year. That wasn't even a
that
full
was like
course.
half a year.
And it was a
anything,
joke, kind of like just get a quick mark and keep it moving.
Just say we want to be a lawyer.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Like, you know
Get your applaud, get your 80, and keep it moving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like, man, if there was some focused program for athletes just to find out, like, hey, man, like this athlete stuff might not work out through injury, through whatever. You know what I mean? So like, what are some of your other passions?
Yeah.
You know, what other some of ways would you want to make money? Like even if it's still within the sport, like being a coach or being a trainer,
a mentor,
like
whatever.
or being a mentor. You know what I mean? Like shaping how we could do that for you. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that would be like a great program for the kids. You know
For sure.
I really do believe that you can make money in anything.
Yeah,
It's just managing your money.
Exactly.
And being able to make more money off of the money that you already have. But they don't ever make a point to teach that.
And also like leveraging the passion, right?
Yeah.
So like a lot of people like get in this situation where they feel like they have their passion of X, Y, and Z, but X, Y, and Z won't really make the money because they don't see a market in it. Whereas like people just don't understand how to like leverage that actual passion, right?
Yeah.
So like coming back to these athletes, like they might have a passion for something very basic, very simple in their eyes, but if they understood like through careers, they're taught like maybe how like even in a positive spin, like, yo, once you have a successful career and your career is done, what would you do next with all those bags of money, you know? Like, even like a more positive spin.
Yeah.
It's like now they're not thinking like, yo, you're just trying to tell me I'm not going to make it. They're more thinking like, oh, I wonder what I would do with that money, you know? Like, maybe I would take my video game skills and create a team and we like either develop or we test or we just make Twitch or whatever, you know? There's so many different passions, right? Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, careers class is like it's focused on like people that are also not athletes as well.
For sure, 100%.
So like for an athlete, like you're just like, man, I'm a jockey. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, this is just something I do on the side. I just need this 80, you know, because I need it to help with my scholarship. You know what I mean? So like just having that program or something, course, whatever it may be, just to teach post athletes like education, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to help with their investing, properties, and just
all that kind of stuff. Exactly.
Them as a person, you know.
Yeah. And even to add on that, like I feel like not just careers, but ultimately all the other courses aren't really built around athletes in a way. Because like every course that we take is kind of like, yo, you take math, you take this and that for engineers, you take this and that for whatever craft you want to be. Right. But like none of them are like really revolved around what an athlete wants to be or wants to aspire to be afterwards, like after like post athletes, right? So like kind of to add on to that, I definitely agree with what you're saying. There should be more courses that are more just for like general human beings learning to build themselves as like financially, as like themselves.
Life in general.
Exactly. Life, like, rather than just like, all right, either you're good at chemistry or you're good at math or you're good at physics or you're good at English or you're good at, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of like to broaden it just to be like, yo, be a good person.
Well, that's another thing. Like I don't know why till this day financial literacy isn't taught in school.
And it's, like, agreed.
Like I don't know nothing about taxes.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
It's crazy
that it's like people trying to create employees instead of bosses. And I really like the higher ups are. I feel real like this is conspiracy theory. Call it what you want. But
I like that. That's an interesting hot take.
I really do feel like they're trying to create employees.
Hey man, you need more sheep than wolves, right?
There you go.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I like that one. I never even thought about it like that, but that's very true.
Very true.
That's a good topic.
Moving forward,
so, and we were talking a little bit about goals and stuff and where we're looking about going, but like I'd rather just skip to the point and say like, you know, if you didn't have to work, what would you do? You know,
if you didn't have to work for money, what would you be doing?
Man.
Take a drink.
We're still doing this. I thought that segment was over. What would I do? Man, honestly, I think. Let's see. What would I really?
Trademark. Take a drink and think.
The thing is, I'm still trying to figure that out now. You know what I mean? Like
right? That's half the battle, right?
Like I'm starting to coach right now. And I like coaching. Yeah. But like, would that be the thing that I would want to do? Like, if money wasn't part of it, I don't know. I think podcasting.
Podcasting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
It's creative.
Okay, yeah.
like
right.
it's
fun.
creative. I get to speak my mind.
Yeah.
And
Catch
like
up with people you haven't spoken to.
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
and you have a platform to do anything.
Yeah.
Guests.
Yeah.
Just me talk to myself.
Yeah.
Talk to
Yeah,
someone.
for real. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
for
like,
real.
podcasting is the thing that I came on too late. You know what I mean? Like I just started listening to podcasts like a year ago.
Yeah,
like I
right.
started off with like the Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah.
Of course.
Like and from that I'm like, man, like I love what they're doing. I want to even have my own podcast. Like it like made my creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
Like just hearing other people just like say what they want on sports, music, whatever it may
Anything.
be,
Yeah.
culture,
Hip hop,
society.
whatever. Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So it's just like, damn, like they just speak their mind and like they made money out of it. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Sponsorship.
wow,
Crazy
like,
thing, man.
like yeah, like even
great,
Joe
yeah.
Rogan, like that's one of the
Oh my
biggest
God.
That's his boy.
like
He makes bank.
bank, right? And like it's just he has his ads, and it's just like, man, like he's just sitting down talking to people, having a conversation,
And he's learning. Right?
and he's
That's the
learning
biggest
another
thing. That's the
thing.
biggest
Learning.
thing.
You
right?
learn
That's the
from other
biggest
people.
thing.
You know what I
Learning.
mean?
Developing his
The more you
mind
talk to
over
people,
time,
the more you
right?
learn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what better way to spend your days?
Exactly.
Learning.
So honestly, like I know it's a new thing, but like I would have to say podcasting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like I like with my own podcast, like I have a passion for it. Like I edit it myself and everything.
Which is
like
that's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
amazing.
like
Yeah,
I
yeah, shout outs.
add music or add little things there,
Yeah,
add
yeah, yeah.
sound bites, like and like I have fun doing it. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
exactly.
So
It's
like,
creative, like,
and it's
it is
creative. I'm like,
creative.
oh wow, I'm actually a creator. You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So that
Exactly.
makes me feel good myself. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
so
yeah, agreed.
I'll say like podcasting
Yeah,
for sure.
and that's the
Being a
beautiful thing
podcaster.
about like today, right? Like, you can be a creator. You can be just based off of YouTube's the new TV,
Yeah,
right?
crazy.
So you can do all of it and
Exactly.
just base yourself off of free streams of media
Exactly.
and get paid by literal like sponsorships, right?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
So
You know what
I mean, what was your podcast called again? Tell the people listening right now.
So it is the Mo's and Woes podcast. A little brief like synopsis
Do you
on it. Pretty much like Mo's, that's like a DC term, right? And then we have two people that are based out of DC.
Okay.
So like they're like the Mo's, which is like it's like woes, you know, dudes, you know,
Yeah.
like you boys, right? So the Mo's and woes, so like woes as in like the guys based out of Toronto, right? Like myself and a couple other guys, like it's just you know, Mo's and woes. So
Right.
put that together. So
Yeah.
the Mo's and Woes podcast, pretty much we just speak of like anything that's going on in society, culture, a little comedy, music, sports, whatever, you know. But yeah, check it out.
Keep doing it,
Hopefully
man.
we come back.
Keep doing it.
Wait
See
on
you
it.
soon, right? We'll see you
Got to
soon.
be, man. Keep doing it,
course.
man. If you enjoy it, do it.
Yeah,
It's
Exactly,
not hurting you,
exactly,
right?
exactly,
You guys
exactly.
put a couple more hours into your day doing a little bit of something that you enjoy.
It's
of
worth
course.
it.
Do it,
It's
man.
always
Exactly.
worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Do
yeah,
it, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess that was the 30 seconds of fame. But if you have anything, what else do you want to...
Anything else you want to shout out? Even if you want to build on the idea for athletes, like
Yeah,
kind of building
like,
their
talk
minds.
about it, man.
Yeah, man. You can. I like.
I
that.
mean, like if I talk about that program,
Oh.
like we might have to even edit that out because like I might have to take that out myself.
Hey, man, talk to the people. Like, it connects, bro. Do
You know
your
what I mean?
thing.
So
do your thing.
yeah, I'll just I guess talk about myself a little bit more, just like what I'm doing currently. Currently, I work a 9-to-5 job, and it's not ideal for me right now. Right? It's good money, government job. Like everyone says, all your parents, oh, government job,
Yeah,
that's good.
right.
You know, you should get a government job, right? And like, yeah, it's good pay and everything, but it's very stagnant. You know what I mean? Where you get to a point where it's just like you're there, and I'm on contracts. You know what I mean? So it's just like I'm there, but like nothing's long term. Like you know what I mean? So like I'm taking it for something where like, okay, learn as much, network as much as I can.
Exactly.
Like, but like I'm also trying to develop myself as a business person.
Yeah.
And like what I think about developing myself as a business person is getting into different things as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like I want to get into coaching. Like I just started coaching the past week, right?
Yep.
And like getting into coaching, I eventually want to start an academy. You know what I mean? I play
Nice,
for an academy.
nice.
I see how like the success of that went, and I'm like, wow, if I had my own academy like that, that's a
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah, yeah.
possibility, right? So I'm coaching. I have this podcast, and like, I'm just trying to get into more business things as much as possible. You know
That's
what
what the 20s are for,
Yeah, right.
right?
Right, exactly.
You're just finding your way.
Exactly.
Is there a lot of academies around the GTA?
I feel like they're starting to get more and more.
Yeah.
The one I currently start to coach for is called Northern Lions FC.
Okay.
That's based out of Brampton.
Oh, okay.
The academy I played for was Sigma Academy. That's based out of, I'll say, Mississauga.
Yeah.
But there's more. Like I feel like Brampton. You know how Brampton Youth and Brampton East, how they used to be separated. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
They now formed into Brampton FC. So Brampton East and Brampton North pretty much is one thing now. So you could say it's an academy now, right?
Okay.
So I feel like more clubs are more going into the academy route. And it's definitely growing. So I feel like there's more and more academies, because there is like a bunch of academies in Toronto and in Brampton, but it's growing from like when I was playing soccer. Like there wasn't much academies. Like it was more like play for Mississauga, Brampton, North Miss, whatever, Erin Mills. But now like I feel like since academies are more like player focused per se. People are tending to go to academies because might have better coaches, better networks, better connections to get wherever that player may want to go. Right?
Now, I'm completely ignorant to this because I don't know much about soccer. But the academy, is that strictly rep, or is that like a high school based kind of thing? Like, because I know for football. A lot of them are popping up now. There's like the Northern, St. Andrews. They're trying to prep you.
Like the prep schools.
Is that what the academies are sort of like, or is it more separate from school?
I feel like prep schools are different from academies. I feel like I understand what you're saying. Like, but I feel like an academy is almost like its own entity.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like it is like a. Because it's not like a school an academy isn't really connected to a school. More of a prep school, it's like a prep school is like you have a team and it's connected to a school.
And they shape you and get you ready for
right.
So this is you're still like
academy is just like more like it's just like it's similar to a club. But like it's just like being private almost. You know what I mean? Not so much public. It's like a private thing. They do their own thing. They're not like in like a Ontario league and like
it's more like drills and skills and all that kind of stuff. Building up the players.
Developing the player. Have more player focus rather than just like
games and stuff.
Just well-rounded tournaments and all that stuff. Not so much that, right? It's just like academies are more focused on like, let's go to the States for this tournament. Let's go to Europe for this.
But that's sick.
Training,
that's
right?
That's
sick.
Like it's more like that, right? So it is better for the athlete to get more exposure if they're trying to go to the States, if they're trying to go to Europe, because and academies may have that exposure rather than a club that's more like focused in Ontario. You know what I mean? So.
No, I got like a kind of like off to the left question here.
Yeah.
So like you're talking about how you took that leap going to New York. You're talking about how like you kind of want to take like certain chances. How big is being uncomfortable important to your success in building your character?
Every day I'm trying to be more uncomfortable with doing things that I'm comfortable with. You know what I mean? Be more comfortable with doing things that I'm uncomfortable with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you have to. There has to be some type of fear. You know what I mean? You have to be fearful in what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because like, if there's no fear, there's no passion.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like in soccer, like I was always fearful. Me losing my starting spot. Me getting injured. Me not scoring. You know what I mean? Because of my passions. So like developing things that I'm uncomfortable with, like taking the chance, taking that leap of faith, is like things I have to be more comfortable with, and I like I'm not good at that. Like I'll say that personally, like I'm not good at that. And it's something that I definitely need to work on. You know what I mean? Like I need to take chances. I need to reach out to people. Like, because some people are afraid, just like, I'm not gonna reach out, or I'm not gonna do this thing. I'm not gonna sign up for this. Like, like I don't. My boys doing it. No, it's just me. You know what I mean? So like
that's crazy. Yeah, right.
So like you have to become comfortable with doing things that you're uncomfortable with, and I have to, I might say it, but I have to do it. You know what I mean? Because it's something I have to work on.
Right.
And I find it, sorry to add on what you're saying, I find it so crazy. So, we go from, a high school system where we're surrounded by people every day, and it's the further we get in school, the more, isolated we seem to get, and the more, social anxiety we get when, like you said, reaching out to people, doing new things, talking to new people. So, I love what you're saying. It's huge just to be uncomfortable, kind of talk to new people and kind of be out there. And the hugest thing you said was yo, are my boys doing it? Yeah. Oh, they're not doing it? Then I don't know. There's it's we kind of still want that comfort. It's at least one of my friends need to come with me. As soon as that one says no, you're kind of I don't know if I want to go anymore, right?
It honestly stems from your parents too. You know what I mean? You see what your parents do, and you almost you're almost comfortable with doing or getting to the level of where they got. You know what I mean? It's hard to branch away from what they tell you. You know what I mean? My mom worked for the government. My dad worked a factory job. And I've done both. You know what I mean? I worked a factory job. I'm in the government now. You know what I mean? So it's just so what's next?
Exactly,
how do I get
exactly.
better? How do I get better than my parents? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's hard because you only know about things that your parents tell you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't know anything else.
No, you don't know any different lifestyles. It's kind of let you know.
And it's hard because those who you look up to, your whole life you looked up to your parents, right? So just reaching out to other people is just it's uncomfortable. You know, doing something different that you don't know of, it's uncomfortable. You know, but of course you want to you see things through social media and all that, and it clogs your mind.
Big time, yeah.
And it's how do I get there? How do I get to be that person? How do I, you know what I mean? You don't really know. You have to figure things out on the go, and it's not easy. It's not easy.
And I feel the hardest part, just to add on to that, especially touching social media, is the hardest part is we see we don't really see the beginning, but we always see the end with people's success, right? Yeah. So it's we ignore the fact of how much discomfort they had to go through, how much they had to build themselves behind closed doors to achieve the success that they have right now. Especially social media, with careers, with anything. You see any successful person in front of you, it's kind of just you forget, once at one point in time, they weren't successful. They were sitting somewhere scared too. When they took different risks. And I feel that's the journey that should be more taught, is breaking through those barriers rather than just from basic to successful overnight. Right?
Exactly, man. That's huge, man. That's huge because and it's hard because if we want to talk about social media, man, it's just it's brainwashed. Jesus, I got, but you need it. It's the world, you know.
It's free as
so it's oh man, every day I want to delete Instagram. I'm I can't. You know what I mean? That's I'm deleting myself. You know what I mean? From life.
And that's the way the world is going.
that.
So it's shit, and you need it. I've started a business. If I'm starting anything, I need to be on Instagram.
Advertising all that.
You know what I mean? But I don't want to be on Instagram, but I have to. No one's gonna look at it. It's not old school advertising. I can't call people. I can't put up a poster and put it on a commercial. They want to see it on Instagram.
The game's
you know
changed.
What I mean? How much followers do you have on Instagram?
That's your status, right?
Right?
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
It actually
is. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So it's this is the world we live in, and it's crazy because we're all the same age here, right? Yeah. And we're in the middle of it. You know what I mean? Because we know what Instagram is,
and we know what it was without it,
and we know what it was like.
We know what AOL was like. You know what I'm saying? Dial up internet.
So we gotta hop back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah. We're in between. Yeah.
And you can't be ignorant to it because it's the way it is right now, but next year it's going to be even worse. The next year it's going to be way worse.
Exactly.
5 years from now, oh man, who knows?
So how do you calculate it? How do you foresee the next step?
I feel you don't. You just kind of flow with it in a way, and you grow with it. Because I feel the people that kind of get stuck at where they're at are the people that are in denial of the change that's actually coming, right?
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So it's either you understand it, you learn it, you grasp it, and you kind of go with it, or you don't, and you end up feeling kind of left behind or falling back in a sort of way. That's kind of how I feel about those kind of situations, right?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because if you're not gonna adapt, you're gonna fall behind.
Exactly. Right? It's evolution. It's been that since the first day. You know, since the first day of the world. It's either we grow and we survive, or we stop growing and we die. It's no in between.
When people used to talk about texting?
Yeah.
And how they're I don't text. That's some. whack stuff, you know,
yeah.
like call me if anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one calls anymore.
That was
Yeah.
like less than 10 years ago. Man. Imagine in 10 years from
Hey
now.
man, like this is
exactly.
why I even like podcasting, because like I get the chance to communicate, improve my
Yeah, you can actually
communication
talk.
skills.
You can
know what I
talk.
mean? You know what I mean? Like I'm texting all day. I'm like, damn, I'm looking forward to podcasting, and
Yeah.
talking to people.
Yeah.
Talking to people. Yeah.
Like this is like this whole core, this whole like communicating, like this doesn't happen on an everyday basis. You know what I mean?
Very true.
So like the more that it happens, and the more that we talk to each other, and the more that we're honest, open with each other, it's just like we're gonna grow together. You know what I mean? Because if we don't, like
we don't.
it's just, we don't. You know, simply. You know what I mean? So, oh man,
It's crazy.
so I appreciate this for sure, man.
Of course.
So I guess with that being said,
Finish up.
finish it up.
Chug it up, all right,
it
boys.
up. Chug
You
Cheers.
already know.
Coors Banquet.
Coors Banquet. That's what we started off with.
That's what it
Episode
was.
number 1,
That's number
Coors
one.
Banquet.
I mean, like, I feel like it's just like the first podcast, so you gotta go like generic.
It is, it's pretty generic. I'm not one of those kind of people. I give it a.
Wait. Let the guests.
Yeah,
Let the guests have their opinion first. So out of 10.
The
Is
golden,
this
the
what
golden
you-
Colorado Coors Banquet.
Okay,
you know, right?
okay,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
Is this usually what you drink?
Is this your go-to party drink? Are we turning up right now?
I'm more of a brown liquor guy.
Ooh,
I like
this
the brown,
really
you
hit you
know?
straight
Okay.
on the rocks, or we're mixing it with
It's-
some. How you feeling?
I mean, I like it on the rocks too.
Ooh. Straight to the head.
Honestly, I don't really like I drink beer if it's there. I'm not that type of guy to be like,
Yeah.
oh,
Of course.
calorie count. You know what I mean? So like I'm gonna drink it, but like Coors Banquet is just like I feel like this is Coors' best beer. To
Okay,
be honest.
okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't want to break like. It's also because you guys offered the bear.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, yo, get me the most expensive beer, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't about to go on, like, beer store and be like...
we respect that. We respect that.
The dark one? Yeah, that one. You know what I mean? So, let me go light, you know, go with the Coors Banquet, you know?
Okay,
But
okay.
I'm sure you guys will improve and get better beers, and I'll look forward to seeing the different beers, because I also learned, like, oh, I never had that one before, so let me try that. You know? So, next time it's on you, Trav. You pick. You pick next.
What are you giving that out of 10? What's the score?
I'll give it a 6.
That's a beginner score.
Picnic vibes.
Beginner score?
Picnic vibes.
You know, you gotta go decimal points if you're doing a little bit of that.
So
but, you
you're
know, it's a
beginner?
little
You said you
bigger.
rounded it up or
Get you
down?
started.
Numbers are, you know, I'm gonna give it a solid 4.7.
4.7?
It's not great. It's your typical American beer. It's a little watered down, but you know, we're
True.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Good beer.
I'm gonna say that 5.2.
5.
You know, like I'll chill at the barbecue, drink one of these. It's a good day, you know. What I'm
okay,
saying?
okay.
Have a good vibe outside with a picnic, you know.
I got you.
So I'll give it a 5.2. Nothing crazy, nothing low.
Next time you're on, we will do some on the rocks.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll do a little
Oh,
brown.
yeah,
on the
yeah,
rocks.
some
yeah,
browns?
yeah. We'll do some brown on the
Get
rocks.
some more truth out of me, you know what I mean?
We'll have to take a shot.
So again, guys, Jordan Lynch was on. You know,
Respect.
thank you so much for coming out, being the
appreciate
first
it, man.
guest.
For sure.
What
Appreciate
a
it.
way to kick it off.
For sure,
We're
for
gonna
sure.
pick the better guest.
For
and,
sure.
Yeah, man. I
Appreciate
look forward
this.
to I look forward to listening, being on again, and,
Yeah, we'll have you back for sure.
and everything. Like
We'll
you
have
know,
back,
like I like this. You know, like came from high school and now we're here. So
Yeah.
Yeah, right? The
love to
growth.
see it, man. Love to
Yeah,
see it, man. So keep going, keep pushing. Like you told me to keep pushing, you guys keep pushing
Got
too,
you.
and
100%.
we're gonna grow this thing and speak your mind. You know what I mean?
Right? And we hope to hear your podcast coming back soon.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
very shortly.
Thank
Very
you.
shortly.
Thank you. All right, bro.
All right, guys. So
It's Travis Seaman and Michael Nelson signing out.